Hello. I just wanted to take this time to share something very personal with you today. Something that in some ways is difficult to admit, but it needs to be said. It needs to be shared. Part of this ministry is not only about sharing the gospel, living out our faith every day. Another part of it is being extremely authentic and transparent through everything. And this is what this is about: transparency and authenticity. So, as many of y'all know, if you've been following this channel or following our Facebook page, we are going through a difficult season in life right now. I'm not going to get into details about everything because the details themselves are not important. What's important is what I'm sharing right now. I got some news today that, to be perfectly honest with you, was not the best news in the world. It feels like a setback, even though it's not. But my immediate response in my human nature when I received this news was to go into self-control mode. Let's put it this way, that the news hit hard, so hard that I started getting pains right here that started shooting up to my ears. And so obviously my blood pressure was rising. But I got the news and I was just like, all right, what am I going to do now? Now, mind you, this is something, I prayed in faith with God. We talk about the prayer of faith right here versus the resolution right here. And we find ourselves in this little spot here, the waiting game. And, I've been talking a lot, especially on my shorts, about perseverance, the testing of our faith, going into James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4. And it says, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds." Well, I have my trial of various kinds. I have various trials going on, all at once right now. So I got my prayer of faith going, right? And it goes on to say, "For you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And let perseverance have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing." And this is what I've been teaching about this past week, is basically those verses. So I've got my prayer of faith going, and I'm waiting on my answers and putting it all in God's hand, because I know that God is not only working on the situation, but He's also working through me as well. But again, I went into full self-control mode for a moment, going, how am I going to fix this? What was I doing? I was stepping in to where God is at and saying, I'm not liking how fast you're moving. I got to move something a little bit faster. I caught myself. When pressure builds, especially when you're waiting on God, your mind starts searching for solutions. When I got this news that I didn't receive well, I wanted to take over. I wanted to make something happen. Now, these thoughts, they're not sinful thoughts. And they're not really reckless thoughts, but in taking over control, it would have been reckless because I'm taking it out of God's hands. And because the temptation wasn't to walk away from God, it was to quietly step in front of Him. And it was in the height of me wanting to take this over that something stopped me. And I realized that this wasn't just me trying to take over. This is part of my test. Am I going to take over? Or am I just going to still trust God to resolve that situation right down there? It was a test of my own perseverance that I am currently walking through right now. I'd already given the situation to God. I had already prayed. And I've already surrendered it. And I felt bad because even though I did all that, here I was, trying to take it all back. What God showed me clearly was simple and very uncomfortable. In my mind, I was being proactive after hearing this news, but I wasn't being proactive. I was taking back control of what I already gave God. And this is exactly what James was teaching us when he was talking about faith, trust, and perseverance. You know, perseverance isn't just enduring the hardship. It's staying submitted to the process in the midst of the hardship. Even when the hardship begins to get a little bit more difficult, as this news kind of provided, it's going to make things a little bit more difficult. And as I was beginning to realize this, another question popped into my head. And I wondered how many of us are going through the same thing right now. We've given something to God. We're waiting for the answer. We're in that little waiting space. How many times do we wake up while we're in the waiting going, what should I do today to rectify the situation? You know? Not that we're walking away from God by any stretch of the imagination, but we're trying to help Him as if God needs our help. You know, we're still praying, we're still believing, but quietly we're searching for a backup plan. Let me be perfectly clear. The thought itself was not a failure. Temptation in of itself is not a sin. It's only when we follow through on that temptation does it become a sin. No, the growth for me was recognizing exactly what I was doing and stopping and going back into prayer and saying, Lord, I am sorry I just tried to take that away from you. Lord, forgive me. Father, this news that I got, a little bit devastating, a little bit of a hit, but I asked in prayer of faith for you to take care of the issue, and I trust that you will. It's not weakness to want to take over sometimes during the midst of your struggle. But it is maturity, and it is growth. It is what I've been talking about in all of my shorts. It's growing in relationship with God. We often think that perseverance means pushing harder, but sometimes perseverance means not moving at all and leaving it with the one who will and can take care of it. It means trusting God enough to resist the urge to take back what it is you surrendered to Him. So, and if you're in a season of waiting right now, if the pressure is loud, if control looks very tempting, know this. Know that God isn't disappointed in you, but He's forming something in you. And your waiting isn't wasted. As much as in the particular moment of waiting, it feels like you're doing nothing, that waiting is not wasted. We all go through it. This one hit home with me, and I felt like sharing it because I'm sure that there's plenty of other people out there who are going through the same thing. My message to you is you're not alone. Whatever that struggle is, whatever that trial that you're going through right now, give it to God. Give it to God right here. Prayer of faith. Prayer of faith. Heavenly Father, this is what I'm going through. Help me. This is your end result, whatever that answer may be. We're all right here. We're in that waiting period. And if this resonated with you, and I'm sure it did to a lot of folks, again I say, you are not alone. I would just say to continue to stand in faith. It's okay to have thoughts of, I need to do something, I need to do something, I need to do something. And go to God with those thoughts too. Go to God and say, Lord, I've been waiting. It's been 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and nothing has changed, Father. And I got this news, Lord, and, I have this idea to do this and do that. But I don't want to overstep my bounds, Lord. I don't want to step in front of what you are working on. I don't want to put a roadblock in a path that you're creating, Father. So, Lord, I ask you, Lord, this idea, this thing I have in my head with regards to resolution for this struggle, this temptation, this season of life I'm going through, Lord, is that of you, Father? And you're going to know right off the bat if it is or not, because here's the thing. Our God is not a God of chaos. When you go to Him in prayer, you're either going to come out of it, and if you're going to Him in prayer and you're giving Him this idea, whatever that, is on you that you want to do, you're going to come out of it either with comfort and peace, or it's just not going to feel right. So God's going to let you know through your being. He's going to let you know if this is Him speaking to you, or if it's just your own thoughts running awry. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to even want to take back what you've already given to God. It's okay to want to. It's not okay to do it. Trust in God. Let God do his work in you. I know he's doing his work in me. And I'll be the first to admit it's not easy. It's not easy, especially when you got that knot, that black knot right there in the center of your body. Your mind's going 1,001 different directions. It's not easy. Nobody ever said it was. But we leave it with the one who has control over everything. Allow him to do his work in you as well as to work in the situation. If this resonated with you, won't you please put a comment, I feel this, down below. Not so much for me as it is for other people who are going through these same struggles. And they will watch these videos and they'll look at the comments. And they probably won't comment themselves. But seeing those comments will help them to know that they are not alone in these struggles. And as always, I'll ask you to subscribe because I share videos about simple, honest, everyday faith every single day. Thank you. Have a blessed day.